I made sure that he was taken care of, even in death. That's what I've been doing. But also, not just that, I went to all of my nephew's schools. I met with their principals and their teachers to ensure that they are okay. I gave them and made sure that they had grief counseling and that they're seeing a psychiatrist. That's what I've been doing. And while you're talking about hard work, you need to realize that our job is not just in this state house with these marble floors. Our jobs are on the streets and in the communities that we serve. And so while you've been here passing bills that have been hurting transgender children, while you've been here passing bills that have been hurting the poor, hurting the marginalized, hurting the disenfranchised, while you've been here passing bills that have not ended poverty, while you've been here passing bills that have not helped people who need Medicaid expansion, while you've been here doing the hard work of making sure that our state is not the state that it can be, because you have decided.
Representative Pearson.
Reality of our situation is only to be.
Representative Pearson.
While you've been here doing that, I've been in my community.
Representative Pearson.
Meeting with young people, going to school.
A few moments later.
Mr. Chairman, you have 2 ayes, 7 nays.
The noes prevail. House Bill 1392 fails.
No. No, sir.
5-minute recess.
What's going on, guys? Hey, you want to come back to, and I wanted to bring a story out of Tennessee. 2 representatives for Tennessee, and you saw them right there in the video, man. The white guy is Andrew Farmer, and the black guy is Justin Pearson. Now, Justin Pearson wanted gun control passed because apparently back in January, his brother unalived himself using a gun, apparently. And anyways, the state, they said, hey, look, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. They struck it down. And he got mad. Again, you have to remember, the Democrats, they're a bunch of very emotionally driven people. And again, man, this is nothing but evil, straight evil. There's no good in emotions like that at all. And again, man, he was upset. And he wanted that passed. And he was lecturing, about how hard it was for him, how hard he worked, whatever. And Andrew Farmer was basically like, hey, look, you're done. Your time is up. You're done. Be quiet. And he wouldn't be quiet. He would not be quiet. And, again, we have to realize that picture shows at the end of him walking up the stairs and yelling, and the Republican, Andrew Farmer, he just back turned, crossed his arms, his back turned. Again, that kind of sums up right there the difference between the two parties. Again, one is the responsible adult, and the other one's the emotional little kid who's going to throw a fit if he or she does not get their way. And again, I was talking to a friend of mine tonight, and he was telling me, he said, man, I really believe the Democratic Party is the party of domestic terrorists. And that, I have to agree with that. Again, that's where you see majority of your violence is from the left when they don't get their way. But I'm going to put up a little bit of what the news had to say about this.
It's not the kind of showdown you'd expect in a legislative chamber. But today, politics turned personal in Tennessee. Democratic Representative Justin Pearson hasn't been back to the Capitol since his brother's suicide in December, returning with even more passion behind his bill to end the permitless carry of firearms in Tennessee.
We have the power to do something about the gun violence epidemic, and we don't just have to offer some empty thoughts and prayers. We can do something, and now is the time to do it.
But after Pearson called out a Republican for trying to end the debate, another Republican called out Pearson.
I know every member in this committee's been here this year working during committee, during session, voting on bills.
Yes, sir.
And I know you may have some things going on, but you have not. So I don't think it's fair for you to come in front of this committee and lecture us on hard work and convictions and hard work for our committee.
Thank you, Chair Doggett, and thank you, Chair Farmer, for your comments. They incense me. They make me very, very angry. I buried my brother. I planned for his entire funeral. My fiance made his obituary. I made sure that he was taken care of, even in death. That's what I've been doing.
The committee chairman trying to regain control, cutting off Pearson's mic. That didn't stop him.
That's what you need to think about, Chairman Farmer.
When lawmakers killed the bill,
Mr. Chairman, you have 2 ayes, 7 nays.
everything came to a head.
92 fails.
Lawmakers physically restraining Pearson, while Farmer stares the other way.
You know, one thing, man, we got to get straight right now is if you try to legislate gun ownership or restrict gun ownership and legal gun owners, again, you can't do that and have any impact on people that use guns for unlawful reasons, like robbery or hurting somebody or killing somebody. You're not going to have an impact on that. Now, again, I understand, wanting to get rid of guns and wanting to make people safe, but by restricting lawful gun owners, you're not making anybody safe or anybody safer. Again, you want the guns to be in the hands of the good guys, not the bad guys. I mean, the only way you can make things better is if you go into the hood. And just now that you're from Memphis, go into the hood and take away the illegal guns from the brothers. And again, man, I'm not trying to sound bad. I'm really not. But that's where the problem is. And again, that's where you're going to have the impact. You're not going to have an impact by restricting Grandpa. You're not. Sorry. I mean, you're not going to have an impact by trying to restrict me. I don't commit crimes. Not any more than going maybe 5 miles over the speed limit or something. I don't get out there and commit crimes, especially violent crimes. And again, man, you would be restricting people like me. Again, I don't live in Tennessee, but that's the kind of people you're restricting. You're not helping people, you're hurting people. And again, man, you're out there yelling and screaming and confronting the guy wanting to fight the guy or whatever. And I don't think it would turn out in your favor at all. And your friend or girlfriend or fiance or whatever the white lady is, got a banner or something that says, love is strength or whatever. There ain't no love in you, man. There ain't no love in any of you people. Again, you're all about drawing attention to yourself if you don't get your way, and also throwing fits, getting mad. There's no love in you at all. None. But I wanted to show you real quick a small clip from last year or just over a year ago. And apparently Justin Pearson and Andrew Farmer have had words before. Watch.
And you don't truly understand why you're standing there today. You don't truly understand why I authored that resolution. Just because you don't get your way, you can't come to the well, bring your friends, and throw a temper tantrum with an adolescent bullhorn. What you could do, you could file a piece of legislation that maybe you'd do that instead of sitting back and criticizing folks that's worked really hard for the past decade to do so. That might be a place to start. But certainly don't start by commandeering the well while we're conducting business here in this Tennessee General Assembly. That's why you're standing there. because of that temper tantrum that day, for that yearning to have attention. That's what you wanted. Well, you're getting it now.
How many of you want to be spoken to that way? We're not talking about politics. We're not talking about even gun violence. How many of you would want to be spoken to that way? I don't personally want attention. What I want is attention on the issue of gun violence. But instead, we're here with a resolution you put up talking about expelling me for advocating for ending gun violence in the state of Tennessee.
You want attention. That's all you want. And again, you expect it. If you don't get the attention that you want, you throw a fit. And that's what you did last year. Again, you went there, and if you weren't being heard in the way you wanted to be heard, so you go out there with a bullhorn. And again, you're not that important. You are not that important. Who do you think you are, man? I mean, you're nobody. You're nobody at all. And again, here's what the issue is, man. Mamas, this new generation, they believe, they can do whatever. Mama told me I was important. Mama told me, you important. You important baby. Again, you were talking out in class when you were like in 4th grade or whatever. And instead of mama saying, you know what, you got detention because you were talking out in class, mama was like, poor baby. My poor baby, he's so smart. He's so smart. Again, the teacher just didn't recognize just how smart he is. And so, she gets mad at the teacher for her son speaking out in class and acting up. And that's when the entitlement begins. The absolute entitlement. I mean, again, you're a part of the state of representatives. You're a part of the House. And you come there with a bullhorn? Man, what the hell is wrong with you? Again, you got some severe mom issues. And daddy was too weak to step in. I get it. I totally get it. But the fact of the matter is, man, you got to grow up. You got to grow up. And you're not. You're not. You're blaming everyone else. And you're like, well, he talked to me that way. Nobody wants to be talked to that way. Yeah. Nobody wants to be shouted down with a bullhorn either. Again, grow up, start acting like an adult, put on your big boy pants, and deal with what you have to deal with. Guys, I'm going to show you a few minutes of an interview with Justin Pearson. And again, you can see just how entitled this guy is. Watch.
Be a little confrontation that happened. Just talk to me from your perspective as to how this all played out.
Yeah. I mean, the Tennessee General Assembly is one of the most toxic work environments that exist. I actually have had a lot of support since we lost my brother to suicide from Republicans and Democrats. But in this committee, Representative Farmer was very disrespectful, dismissive of the pain, the heartache that we're experiencing, and was making it seem as though I had no right to advocate on behalf of District 86 because I've been taking care of my nephews and making sure that our family, my mom and my dad, were okay before coming back here. But this is a hard environment, and it's an impossible environment to grieve in. And that's why I had to take time to be with my family, to be in District 86. I've attended more meetings, more, unfortunately, funerals of people in our district, and have been able to participate more with our community in our district. And our jobs don't stop at the doors of this Capitol. And just to have a personal ad hominem attack against my family and against my brother in particular, who we lost, and that has shattered our entire life in irreparable ways.
was very upsetting. And I do believe, I can and I will continue to advocate for the end of this gun violence epidemic.
Yeah, and of course, gun violence already hits close to home for anyone who represents Memphis, but to have it, be this close to you, talk about some of the emotion that you felt today and why it did get to the point it got to.
Yeah. I mean, I have always been passionate about the issue of ending the gun violence epidemic. I lost my job and was reinstated by District 86 because I got expelled for fighting to do something about the gun violence epidemic. I never imagined that that epidemic would come to our house and our family in this way. And it has been horrible, a very difficult time as well. But today I was speaking passionately about legislation that will repeal permitless carry and that people who have access to firearms are going to be responsible firearm owners. It's a good bill. It's a simple bill. And since we have not had that bill, we have seen homicides and suicides go up in our communities. But instead of talking about the merits of the legislation, the representative who I got in an altercation with wanted to attack me and attack our family. And no one, I will allow no one to come after me or to come after my family, especially. And I know that this issue is personal for me and thousands of other people in our city and in our county. And in fact, it's because of the inaction of people like Andrew Farmer. It's because of the inaction of people who are intransigent to this in this Republican Party and in this Tennessee General Assembly that we are dealing with the heartache and the pain that we are with the loss of my own brother. And so,
I got to tell you, man, I'm sorry you lost somebody. I'm sorry you lost your brother. I am. But the fact of the matter is, man, again, grieving is something you do personally. And nobody can help you out with that. And again, man, you can tell that these other folks at the state house, they're not trying to make it harder for you. But, again, you have got to grow up and handle your shit. Again, man, I'm sorry about your brother. But you're going to face hardship over and over and over again. See, the thing is, man, so many people, especially the kids now, they believe that they're somehow special. That other people haven't experienced the hardship that they have. They've experienced that and much more. And that's something you have to understand. And again, I understand you're doing the whole black thing and everything else. And you're oppressed and you're this and you're that. And again, man, grow up. Grow up. You missed the civil rights movement by 50 years. Sorry. Grow up. Understand that, people, they don't like to hear that your brother, is dead. They don't like to hear that. They definitely don't like to hear how he died. Nobody would. But, the fact of the matter is, you got to deal with it. And you have got to understand that nobody needs to make anything easier for you. And they're not going to. And that is wisdom. That is life, man. Ain't nobody gonna make nothing easier for you. Again, you might find a few people, they will hold your hand and say, oh, poor baby, and rub your back and whatever. And again, that feels good for a few minutes. And maybe it's something you would like to have. And I get it, it feels good. But at the end of the day, that literally doesn't help you out. You still have to, you're still there. You still have to face you. And you still have to face this world without your brother or whoever dies. And that's the way it is. And again, people that can make you feel better for a minute, but they can't take away your pain. Just like you can't take away anyone else's. It can be done. And again, man, nobody's trying to make it more difficult on you. They're just trying to again, tell you that, you don't have a special privilege because you lose somebody. And that's something that you have got to acknowledge. But guys, man, if you would, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. You son of a.